Hey y'all, I'm coming back in on the Waterfall dresser. I've misted the center of the front of this with water from my mister bottle. And I've decided to use Dixie Belle paints, and in a minute I'll show you the rest of the colors. I hope I remember to do that. But this is going to have a Prima transfer on it, and I don't have it right here in front of me right now. I kind of want to surprise everybody with it anyways, because it is unusual to be something to go on a dresser, but I love it. I've loved that transfer since I saw it. It's at home on my table, or I probably would go ahead and sneak peek it with you. But something I learned about the transfers, and this is Savannah Mist, which is kind of a pale, muted, grayish blue-green color, and my intention was to paint this whole thing navy blue and then put the stencil on here, because the darkest part of, not stencil, but of the transfer, it's called Prima Redesign Transfers. The darkest part of the transfer is in navy, and I just envisioned it all sort of flowing in together and thought that would be very pleasing to the eye. But in reality, after reading where some other people, have done the stencils, particularly that one, which is a dark stencil. I don't know anybody who's done it on furniture. They say you really need it to be a light color underneath it for it to stick out. So what I've decided to do is start, and this is the lightest color of the colors that I'm going to use, is start with it and do the whole center part here and come out a little farther than where my transfer is going to be. And this is the Dixie Belle. It's a thick mineral paint, but it also has an acrylic base, so it's not going to need a top coat. I will put a top coat eventually, but it doesn't need one, and that's part of the reason why I chose to use it rather than, say, a chalky based paint or something like that would still need a top coat on it before I could put the transfer. So I'm doing this to save myself a step. And even though I said that my transfer is going to start right here, I'm going to want to go up into here and sort of blend in a little bit of the lighter color onto this upper drawer. So, and I know I need to come way farther out. I don't know how yet I'm going to do this, whether I'm going to start that transfer below this, because this is a little it's called a stile. This is a little stile between the drawers here. It's a wood part, and there's another one down here, but there's a deep indentation on this one, and this one has, the bottom one has ridges. So that's something that I have to consider whenever I'm trying to decide to use the transfer. Am I going to try to make the transfer go perfectly in there, or skip below that and start here? So while I'm hem-hawing around about that, I'm going to go ahead and paint over it, because it's not going to hurt for it to have the paint under it if we're going to do that later. I'm going to come back and perfectly straightly paint the tops and the side panels on this drawer. I'm just doing it to begin with closed, because right now all I have in mind is that the transfer is going to be on here. I'm using next this vintage duck egg. It's just a little bit darker than the, what was that I just used? Than the Savannah Mist. And then after that I'm going to go a little bit darker. This one's called Stormy Seas. So I'm just going to put like one little layer around it. See how there's a little bit of difference in the color? It's not dramatic, but there's a little. And the water on there has thinned it out, but I'm going to get all the way down with that. Not getting a ton of paint. I'm meaning to just get it on the tips, and that's me and my flip-flopping back and forth that's causing it to go farther up the bristles. This is Stormy Seas. Love this color. Almost looks gray up there, but it's more of a blue gray if you're looking at it close. I dipped my brush in a little water. I'm going to dip it in here and do the same thing that I just did with the other one. Now is when we're going to go to the next darker color. I've grabbed Aubergine, which is like a purple, but collard greens. I wanted to use Palmetto, which is another green, and I only have one left, so I hate to take it. I've got in the navy, Plum Crazy, and just to throw a squirrel in the thing, I got some Daisy. Right now what I'm wanting to do is move into the darker, and I'm going to use this collard greens. It's kind of a deep green. So I'm going to go with the side of my brush and get some around here. And this is where when you doubt yourself and you don't know what to do and it's a little bit confusing and stuff like that, just trust yourself and go with it. It's paint. We can change it later. And I'm not worried about both sides of this being identical and symmetrical. I'm not getting more paint. I'm just going to go on the inner area a little so that I can just thin this down some to try to blend it in. Trying to bring some of the light out. We'll do that first and then we'll try to bring some of the dark in. I'm going to move into the blue, which is going to end up with the body of the dresser being more purple than blue, which is another change of plans that I just got to trust, but I really want to go from the green to the blue. Okay, there's a lot left in this can, and I still have some green left on my brush, and I want it there, so I'm going to use the paint out of the lid. Dampening my brush a little to get some of that green out, and here we go. Ooh, it does look good together, doesn't it, y'all? Everything happens for a reason. The blue wouldn't have looked as good. This is the inlay that we discussed that's not a real inlay. And here's what I've decided. Cover it up. I'm a painter, not a furniture refinisher. Okay, here's what I came up with. A French round and a number 8 from Pixie. This will be the last thing I'm going to show y'all today, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. The rest of the dresser from where I just blended with the purple back is going to be the navy blue. So next time you see it, that's going to be the thing. But I'm going to go right here and right here. And the same thing, how far down should I go? Right here, and then both sides of the bottom with just a little bit of this yellow. And trust yourself, just do it. So, can you see where, yep, there. And then I'm just doing the same areas at the bottom. Some of the other underneath paint is still wet, but I'm just wanting to brighten up just a tad in there. Same thing here. And I tried to even it out by bringing it in through the middle down here and then back out. Now I've got another brush. Gonna dampen it and do the same thing with this pink, with this Plum Crazy. Kind of going to want it, you could either put it beside the yellow for them to come out of each other. You could put it in a totally opposite area than the yellow. I'm going to go beside it, just dipping in, trying not to get too much. And I'm going to go below it and above it. And this is real dry, but I'm going to mist it in just a minute. Still see the yellow I had in there, but the pink is coming down too, and there's a little bit of the green coming out, and I believe everything happens for a reason. I'm just blending this so it'll remain light underneath my transfer. Okay, now I know I'm gonna try to back it up and let you see the whole thing from a distance a little bit. There we go. That yellow ugly down there, that didn't work out, but it's going to be hidden, so I'm not going to worry about it. And the transfer is going to go from either here or here all the way down to the bottom ledge, covering those drawers, but the light being behind it is going to help it. That yellow swatch will be fine, but then we'll blend that purple into the navy on the sides and the back and go from there. I appreciate you joining me. If you have any questions, make sure and post them. I'll check back later. If you could share this, that would be awesome. Give us some hearts. That helps Facebook send it more places. I do appreciate you. Keep watching. This is going to be a fun project. Bye.